Unscripted.
Haha, now this is some of the good stuff everybody's been wanting to see about the PlayStation 5, and I am happy to be doing some videos on it because, let's face it, at the end of the day, this is the meat and potatoes of the questions. We all had so many questions about the PlayStation 5, what it was going to be able to do, how fast was it really? I mean, yeah, we know how fast that Sony says it was, but do we really know how fast it is in general when it's in people's hands? What does this thing look like? Is it really as big as a skyscraper? You know, we've all seen the memes and things like that, and now we have a much clearer idea. As you guys know, there was some interesting situations where some YouTubers were given PlayStation 5 consoles to do like their first round of hands-on testing and things like that, and now we have a very good idea of exactly what to expect when we get the PlayStation 5s in our hands ourselves this November 12th, and I can tell you what, if you weren't already impressed, you're about to be incredibly impressed, because I can say that I was truly impressed by what we were able to see. Now, there's a few different things, so those videos won't go live until tomorrow, but like most things in this world, a lot of things leaked, a lot of behind the scenes stuff sort of leaked, what we've already been wanting to know, the UI, all that kind of stuff. And what's more interesting is I have different articles that I'm going to link in the description below, and all you fine folk will be able to go check it out and let me know what you think as well, because they have pretty much all this information that you're looking for, all the hard-hitting facts, all the hard-hitting information that everybody really just wants to kind of see for themselves. And I completely am there with you. You know, there's a ton to kind of go over and a ton to talk about. So, you know, I kind of want to get started almost right away with this, just because I think it's an important part of coming next generation. Now, obviously, there is a lot of questions to be asked, and a lot of people were sort of wondering what the PlayStation 5 has in terms of usable storage. So, first of all, I want to say, until this actually goes live and they confirm it, take it with a grain of salt. Even though I can link it, even though some of this stuff looks pretty legit, according to this, the PlayStation 5 has 664 gigabytes of usable storage. Now, according to a series of leaked photos, the PlayStation 5 solid-state drive is going to utilize 664 gigs of usable storage, thanks to OS overheads and other use. Now, the solid-state drive, which has basically sits at the heart of the PlayStation 5, and the digital edition is normally 825 gigabytes. Now, there is an uploaded person, according to this, that's displaying it, while revealing the console will have 664 gigs of actual usable storage for games and other media, and there's a lot of interesting pictures and things like that as well. Does it look legit? I don't really know. 664 is fairly plausible, even if the photos aren't legit. And in one of the photos is interesting because you can see, you know, in some of the photos you can see like a mouse cursor. So that could be something that would have been done in Photoshop or something. I don't know. But you have to, if you're a PlayStation fan, you have to kind of set yourself up for the fact that that probably sounds about right. Maybe you might get closer to 700 gigs, but at the end of the day, these things take a lot of space with the with OS and being able to do like instant resumes and stuff like that. So Sony certified expandable storage costs are actually, we haven't really have an idea of what those are going to actually cost yet, but PS4 games can be run from the external standard hard drive, so you shouldn't have any worry there. And I think you're able to also move stuff over, so if you have just a regular USB 3 expandable hard drive, you can store, I think, next gen games there, and then cross them over to the playable state later on when you want to. And I believe it does so rather fast. I know it does on the Xbox Series X, that we saw some of the test run on that, and it did a pretty good job of doing it in like 10 minutes for some of them, 4 minutes in some games, but that's very encouraging as well. So we also have an idea that Astro's Playroom PS5 file size leaked, and it takes up not a very much amount of space. Kind of surprising, really. It looks like Astro's Playroom PS5 file size has been revealed in a leak showing that the game will weigh in at 2.38 gigabytes, which is less than 1/150th of the usable space on the hard drive. And now in the leak, multiple images of the PS5 UI appear, including one that shows internal storage split up into things like applications, save data, and other files. Now, in the image, we get to see what is presumably the game section of the game data settings, and 2.38 gigabytes has already been used, likely for Astro's Playroom, which comes pre-installed installed on every PlayStation 5 console. Now, this is a nice small size for the title and ensures you'll be able to fill up your hard drive with other games, especially if Astro's Playroom is not uninstallable. It is worth highlighting that none of the information has been confirmed. Again, I just kind of want to push that narrative that until these things actually get confirmed, we don't really know what's going on. But you can probably take it with the, since this stuff, everybody's got hands-on that's supposed to come out tomorrow, that it's a pretty good bet that we've seen some legit information shared here. So obviously Sony wants to get like people's opinions and stuff like that out there. You got to kind of combat what Microsoft is doing, and so this is the best way to do it. Also, we've seen some actual pictures of the PlayStation 5, and it's not as big as a lot of people thought. So, that's something that they could be really kind of look forward to as something as, hey, a lot of people were kind of making fun of this thing, saying, oh, look how huge this PlayStation 5 is. It looks huge. It's ridiculous. It's, it is bigger than the Xbox Series X for sure. But I think for me personally, it's definitely bigger, but it's definitely much more in tune with what I actually look at in terms of what I consider to be a futuristic looking console, meaning it looks very next gen to me. It looks incredible. It looks like they did some fantastic stuff with it, and it looks futuristic. If you would have asked me 20 years ago what a gaming console would look like in 2020, that probably would have been one that I picked out of a lineup, just because it looks incredible, and I think that they put a lot of time and effort into it, and that just excites me as a gamer. It makes me incredibly excited for the future of gaming and console gaming in general. It's like, that's my wheelhouse. So aside from that, we also saw a PS5 leak cold boot video that shows incredibly impressive fast load times. Sony has yet to actually show off the official UI for the PlayStation 5, but a leaked video has shown the PlayStation 5 starting from a cold boot, and it's impressively fast. Sony's next generation PlayStation console is launching November 12th in most major markets around the world, and obviously today we've actually seen the first video, and again, you're going to be able to watch this yourself if you follow the link in the description. The source of the videos, it actually appears based on some of the similar leaks. The user shared the video and apparently had been paid to actually gain access to it. It shows actually a DualSense controller, a black DualSense controller, and a PlayStation 5 booting in the background. As is with the case with such leaked videos, again, take it with a grain of salt. There are some people that make UFO videos look legit these days. You don't need much, but I do think that it all falls in line with the information that we're getting as well. So keep in mind that while Sony has only showed a white DualSense controller, there are multiple pictures of a black DualSense controller based on an FCC listing as well. That means that it could be 100% legit. Microsoft has already shown its cold boot animation for the Xbox Series X, which is also impressive. If you compare it takes the time to take a console from a complete shutdown, this was a big problem on the Xbox Series X, while the PS4 and PS4 Pro weren't that terrible. So again, it shows that realistically what Sony was able to accomplish with the boot time and with all the solid state drives and stuff like that, I think that it's really something that goes to show that Sony kind of listened and really paid attention to what developers were interested in, and this is going to pay off big time down the road, when we get to see things that this console is going to actually be able to showcase, and that gets me really excited. I do think that we should be able to see a lot of the things that Sony has been hiding. I don't know if they're hiding is a good word for it, but they've just been kind of keeping things on the down low, and I think that that's something that maybe they wanted to do that to keep from getting too much information out, but at the same time, I feel like some of this stuff maybe would have been prudent to watch well before we had pre-orders. And I think the same goes for like Xbox a little bit as well. Like, we should know what the solid state drive expansions cost before we went and pre-ordered this stuff, and I think that's the same way for Sony as well. I'm not giving one off the hook or the other. I'm just saying it would have been nice to know, and just kind of looking forward, I think that both companies obviously have a plan going forward, and it's just going to depend on which one's going to do which. But we also know that something like, once you get past the cold boot, which I guess was pretty impressive and looks super fast to me, especially given how long it takes to cold boot the Xbox One X and things like that, it looks fantastic. And also we've seen a couple of other leaks where it wasn't necessarily a leak, but this was in Game Informer. Both NBA 2K and Kenna can boot from the main menu. Not the main menu of the games, but just from the main menu to the game, in the game themselves, in 2 seconds flat. So that's going to be a real game changer going forward, and I think that's going to get a lot of people excited about the ability to kind of do next gen and feel next gen, even though we haven't really had you know, that sort of jump. And I think that that's going to be one of the big jumps that we see, is going to be the thanks to the solid state drives and stuff like that. And it's so funny because all the Xbox fanboys that made fun of like the solid state drive and how people were talking up the solid state drive on the PS5, like that's the thing that developers are most that's the thing that all these influencers who got a hold of the Series X are talking about nonstop, right? This is the thing that they're talking about. Oh, look how fast this is. The solid state drive is incredible. It cuts down load times. Like, so in one hand, they're like, you guys are hyping up a solid state drive. On the other, it's like, look at this solid state drive. So to me, it was just kind of this weird kind of hypocrisy, man. I just think that it was the way to go for next generation, and it sounds incredible. I'm going to link all this stuff in the description below. I am Crapgamer. This is Crapgamer Reviews. Please take a minute to consider subscribing, and you can also hit the like button. That's all it takes, is a simple like. I really appreciate it. Maybe you can hit the bell so you're notified of the content as soon as it drops. Please consider that. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up, my friends. Game on. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.